Oh, what a beautiful day, folks. What a beautiful day. What's going on, folks? Moose here. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat first. Let's go down this. We had Mr. OTW News. Mr. OTW News was first. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Snafu Snaps. The optics are always high with you around. We appreciate you, sir. Freedom Grower. Your thoughts are always welcome here, even though you don't appreciate the technology. We do. We do feel that you fit in here. Mr. Talcott's coming up in just a moment. I just want to wrap this up real fast. We got mental pancakes down there. We have a new cult orgy group leader down there, and so I'll be signing up for that group tonight. Please send me an email with everything you need to sign up. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. We got Cult Member 96 down there. We appreciate you showing up. You said, why did the subs stop at 1.2K? Let's get them to 21K. I'm with you. We're going to get Mr. Talcott there. Let's see. Is there anybody else there? El Perro, our buddy Wizards out there. Walk and Talk, Rebecca Joe, and Red number 40, a.k.a. Scott, Truth Not Lies. All right. So thank you, folks, for coming out tonight. And I want to present you Mr. Jack Talcott, everybody. Mr. Jack Talcott.
Blessings, brother, and thank you. Holy cows. I hope everyone enjoyed the new twist, man. Moose has been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I'm excited about Humpday, right? Thank you for joining, brothers and sisters, and for those who join with us later. One thing I just realized, we may have forgot the link, but maybe that was planned for later. But today, thank you to everyone who's joining, Moose. Thank you for the introduction. Seriously, I'm loving what is going on here. And all of you, this was the thought I was thinking about on my way back home today. Of course, trying to think of inspiring words to share, getting clarity on my intentions. What is the purpose of our time tonight with Humpday, right? It's to get your attention. It's to bring a little fun, a little joy, bring some of the common words to attention. But, it's just a place to gather. It's a time for discussions. And what I really was thinking about today was love. Love, such an amazing word. So used, often overlooked, misunderstood, mischaracterized, misrepresented, but it's always there. Love. We all know it in one way or another, whether we recognize it or not. Love is that feeling that bonds, right? It's love that brings the many into the one. That, of course, brought my mind into the one that is God. And, love is more simple than we might think it is. It takes a practice of gratitude. And gratitude is it's the best feeling. It's kind of a gift we've been given with these minds of ours. Holy cows. As I'm speaking, I'm being reminded of other earlier thoughts from today. See, one of the things I'm hoping to present here in this platform, well, and let me come back to introduction as well. What we're doing with this, Moose and I, we didn't really communicate a lot today, but he was obviously doing his stuff for this, and I was doing my own stuff for this, and he and I really haven't talked about it yet. But right now we're opening this up for conversations, because really I've come across there's a lot of talented, creative, very informed people, right, in these lesser known channels and on YouTube. And I was thinking about that. This is a place to bring those, I've been blessed to be introduced to a lot of these people, and this is a place for us to come together to have some good conversations and figure out what we might be able to do. But my intentions for this platform, for this channel on YouTube, is to eventually have some invited guests, with a purpose and a specific topic. And we're going to provide some real mind opening and maybe perspective changing conversations so that they're not just coming from me. But in what I was saying, there's a lot of undiscovered, unrealized, unknown talent that's emerging here in the YouTube realm. I think I'm included in that. I think and this brings me back to another thought of really what I'm trying to offer you is how to enjoy being you, because I enjoy being me, but I can enjoy being me because of you. I see numbers, right? There's numbers of people who subscribe, numbers of people who tune in. There's data, there's analytics, there's all this information that represents you. But I know whoever you are, wherever you are, if you're driving down the road listening, or if you're chilled out, checking it out. Maybe it's in the background while you're doing something else. But whenever and however you're listening, I know that you're you. Not just a number, not just a title, not just a problem, not just a situation. I know you're just like me. And this life of ours, man, it is a bizarre journey through time. It's easy to lose sight of what is truly important. It really is. It's so easy to become distracted by our habits, by our temptations, have a bad day, so you want something to reward yourself, just a temporary satisfaction. All these distractions, they keep us from growing. I'm guilty of that for many years, and I've been open about my past, which brings me to another thought I had earlier. I am pretty open about the things I've experienced, the mistakes I've made, right? But I don't share these things to be looked down upon or for people to look up to me, right? I've had a unique experience, unlike many others, but very similar to everyone else's. It is what it is. And so I guess the point is, if you listen to my words and you move past your opinions of me or you, right? And if you just listen to the words, there was a point to what I was getting to, and I allowed myself to drift. What I think I am is just a man who has been blessed with a message to share, and there's many of us. Many of us. Maybe that's you too. Maybe you've got a message inside of you that the world has yet to hear, has yet to learn, because it's possible. My mind has been blown with so many things in this lifetime. So the idea is, if you can get past your opinion of me as a messenger of information, and if you can accept the information that you hear on this channel with whatever you're doing, and you consider it for yourself, I think, well, many people have told me I'm wrong. Many people have been, judging Moose pretty harshly and pretty rudely for joining up with me. But so far, the critics, they've helped me improve. They've helped me improve my explanations and my comfort in what I know. But, um, you know, I think we are all part of something amazing, and it's right in front of our eyes. But in order to accept the love that is there, the love that unites us, the love that unites us with the moment of now, in order to unite with each other, with the moment of now, we kind of do have to become vulnerable. And that's where the surrendering of the ego comes in. You got to just put the shit down. Not every disagreement needs to be spoken, not every thought needs to be said. And honestly, when and if people join the chat, that's one thing I will be asking, encouraging, and reminding. We're all entitled to our opinions, and sometimes the facts do come across as insulting, but with criticism should be a purpose for improvement, shouldn't there? I mean, honestly, that's something I can say now, but it's not something I used to practice. I used to criticize myself quite a bit, but what was I doing to learn or to grow past what I was criticizing myself for? Nothing. I was doing the same thing and complaining the same thing over and over and over. And that's a sign of insanity. Literally, I used to be insane, but now, praise God. By the grace of God, I learned how to stop overthinking. I learned how to allow my mind to settle into the moment, into the present, so that when I'm calm and when I'm alone, I receive like thoughts beyond what I'd thought before, just through observing the information. And we all have this capability, I believe, of perception and intuition. It's in contemplation. We all have logic and reasoning within us, but we were born into an illogical world. Nothing really makes sense when you stop and think about it. The corporate structure, the government structure, the prison structure, education, and none of it makes sense. It's all nonsense. It's all pretend. And we live in a pretend world, right? Wasn't it Shakespeare? The world is a show, it's a theater, it's an art, it's also a science. I mean, the world is our creation. It's through our imagination, our actions, our energies, our efforts that different things are created. Different things being, material things, products, inventions, but also different ways of being. In my off time, where I'm observing information rather than offering, I was reminded recently about some of the amazing technologies that are being rediscovered, or maybe some of the ancient wisdoms that are being proven with modern science. So we're living at a time right now, it's quite unique and amazing, where I truly believe that science proves what religions were pointing to. Um, and it's always been there right in front of our faces. It's friggin' hilarious. If I'm right, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that, if you just give it up to the idea, right? Whoever created space and time for us to experience, man, holy cows. Biology, physics, thermodynamics. I mean, those are just names that people came up with. Is just a tool. So Here's where I'm at right now, Moose, and those who tuned in. Um, my mind is inspired, but recognizing the patterns of the past, I know that when I over explain things, I tend to complicate that which is simple. So sometimes I'm still kind of learning when to shut up, when to stop talking. And I know we've got people tuning in, but the thoughts on the mind and the thoughts on thoughts, those immaterial concepts, they can seem confusing, which they are, but it's because what you're describing is the activity of what is happening. The mind is the processing and activity, the phenomenon of the activity of thought. It's a concept. Well, a thought is the observation, maybe the reception of information. It's quite divine the way things work because as I understand science, which I'm an amateur, man. But as I understand science, it's all measurable, right? The electrical activity of our mind down to the neuro whatever. um, Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and Dr. Joe Dispenza came to my mind just now as I'm trying to stumble through the words. But see, this is my point. We live in a time with some incredible, incredible teachers. We've got access through the through our technology to really learn some amazing things. So it comes down to learning how and what the question is. What question do you want to know? And are you prepared to know? Are you prepared to know the answer of what will change your life? I hope that you are. I didn't think an answer to change my life was something I wanted because I was happy and I was comfortable and safe. All this nonsense. You know what? This is our lifetime to live, man. And if you're going to live, you got to grow. And if you're going to grow, that means you got to change. You might have to adapt. You might have to let go, maybe pick up some different things along the way, make yourself stronger, more marketable, more desirable, right? That which you can produce as you enjoy what you do, right? I drifted. I'm bouncing topics here, man. Started talking about the mind, now I'm talking about all this other stuff. Praise be if you're following along, and thank you for trying. Thank you for paying attention. And actually, I recognized anyway the people I'd been learning from, those people I spent the most time learning from. I actually had to go back and listen to their words a couple of times. Not had to, but I found that it brought value. So that might be me. Sometimes though, if you listen to me, I speed myself up quite a bit. I think I talk slow. This man, Scott to be live. How you doing, brother? You're muted. Here. Hold up. Oh, you're muted. There
I
you go.
got it. I got it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell people are listening. It's something somewhere.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
So, how are you doing today, Jack?
I am feeling blessed and inspired. I was kind of outlining some of the ideas I had for the future of what
Yeah.
we're doing. Um, excuse me. I keep knocking on doors, I keep extending invitations, and eventually we are growing. And I have great hopes, great aspirations, and each day Earlier, I was explaining how I receive some of my inspirations, and each day I do receive new ones, new new
Yeah.
fight within me, new drive, new thoughts, new ideas, new opportunities. Every day is something new when we allow ourselves to discover the new. Does
Got
that
to be
make
open
sense?
to things. Is that what you're saying? You got to open up. You got to open up and be receptive, because sometimes we close ourselves off. You can often tell somebody is sitting like this in a posture like this. They're closed off. They're unreceptive. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to feel you. But somebody that's a little more relaxed and at ease, they're a little more receptive. Just little signs, you know. But hey, there's a million sales techniques that are out there being used on people for whatever reasons. And, if you start to recognize what the technique is that's being used on you, you can identify it and then move past it. You know, I mean,
Hey, Scott, along with what you just said, I touched on a bunch of topics. One of the things I was looking at recently was some of the new discoveries in healing technologies, frequencies, all of this stuff.
mhm.
But damn it, it was also some of the other stuff is. I'm sorry, Scott. I forgot what you were saying, man.
Well, everything frequency is all around us. We are frequency beings, water, and everything. When you start getting tired, a lot of times you can just walk on the earth barefoot and get energy, get recharged from the earth. But a lot of people live their whole lives in shoes. I've got a maniac set of dogs here going crazy. Mom and her caregiver are coming home from a hat lady party, so I wasn't invited to that one, thank God. At any
All right.
rate, the just a minute. Let me try and calm this brood down. I'll be right back.
Beautiful timing. Hey, welcome, disabled builder slave. Blessings. And Moose, I see you popped up. Did you have something or?
Oh, I was just gonna tell him to get his dogs to shut up. Otherwise, I was gonna have to boot him out. We can't have that stuff. This is a professional broadcast, right? Our microphone's on the way. I'm gonna send you the email with what microphone you need. We'll be all right. All right, hard hat, take it away, baby.
I don't know. I don't think there's a problem with dogs barking in the background, man. They're just talking and speaking and shit. But yeah, I hear you're saying, but I don't know. It's all good.
It's a distraction, man. Um, but the thought I had is we've allowed a lot worse than that on this platform already. So God bless, Uh, Scott's a welcome contributor, and he's been pretty regular too. So I appreciate the conversations. And
What? Go ahead, Jack.
well, I don't know where I was going to take it. If you had something, feel free.
Well, just my little experience today. I went to try to buy a new phone after work here because my phone's kind of fucked and half the screen's not working and I can't get into my maps. But anyway, so I went in. I got an old phone. It's a 4G phone. I don't know how old it is, but anyway, so I went into the company that I'm under, my phone plan or whatever, and all their it was interesting. Uh, when you know how shit works and everything else and how he was trying to upsell. But anyway, I should cut to the chase. He was trying to get me on a 5G phone, and I right away said, "Listen, I need a phone with a lot of gigabytes because I got a lot of old pictures of my dog in the past and old pictures on my phone, right? So I need but I don't. I only want a 4G phone. I don't want a 5G phone, right?" So he's going into this, trying to sell me, saying, "Well, all these phones you could disable 5G on it." And I didn't want to get into it with him. I've learned now after 3 years. It's like, but I said, buddy, in my head, It's you can disable 5G, but guess what? With all the lies and shit that I've learned that we've been told in our society, who says that that little thing 5G they can plug it back in when they want to for whatever, right? When whatever happens, that they can turn that because they can look in your camera, they can listen to your microphone when your phone's turned off. We all know that. That's common knowledge. So why couldn't they just flip your phone back on into 5G to get your phone on 5G if they wanted to transmit something? Anyway, long story short, I'm holding my ground on it, right? So basically, I walked out without, there wasn't one phone in there. So I'm going to have to go online and buy a rebuilt older phone that's only 4G. Because I said, yeah, I use internet, right?
Hey,
But I don't need super fast, super whatever. Like it's, so anyway, that was that. So now after I'm done here, I got to go find a phone, used phone, refurbished, they call it, because I don't want 5G. I don't give a fuck, right? Even if it's nothing, I don't want it fucking near
well,
me.
hey, brother, this is why I'm so focused on changing the world. I really am. And what you just said reminded me of where I was inspired from Scott's words too, was the manipulation that's out there. That was the other thing I was watching about is the evolution of propaganda and some of the current propaganda that's been used and is being used against us. And it's fear. Fear has been the propaganda that's kept humanity divided and at war and enslaved for a long, long time. And see, this is why it's Hump Day, man. And I said it's not really related to the title, but love is an important topic.
You know, Jack, I'm not. I don't want a five. I don't want a 5G phone because of fear, because of the things. It for me, it's a matter of common sense,
It's
right?
fact.
Like when you learn, you know, and you learn kind of the truth, and you learn a lot more about how stuff works, and this and that, and this, and then plus the lies with our legal system, the health system, the da da da. I did. It's not out of fear. For me, it's common sense. I don't want this shit,
Hey,
right? Like
brother,
I'm not a. I really don't think it's fear. It's just common sense. I don't want this shit.
it's facts. I believe you're making a choice based on facts. It's not fear. It's not stupid to avoid contaminating yourself or putting yourself in a position where technology can be used against you. I mean, admittedly, I've got the Google devices in my home for music and stuff like that. So I know that AI is people are gonna do what they're gonna do. AI is gonna do what it's gonna do, and we get to do what we can. And I don't want to limit myself in believing what I can or cannot do until I see the results.
5G is millimeter wave technology. And if you have any idea what that can do, is it can actually act as a depleter of water. It can corrupt your body's water mass. Okay, so that absorption is a problem. A number of things, and I'm not a scientist on this. I just know that it has that direct effect, and I know that frequency. I think I told you about this. You know, if you take a speaker, put a bowl of water on a speaker at 444 or 44.1 hertz, which is what the music's all recorded at. It's going to be, the water's going to look like a bunch of rains hitting it. It's going to look just all chaotic. But if you back that down to 432, it'll look like one drop hit the middle. The water goes out and water comes back, water goes out. There's also science that's been done, and a guy froze water. Before he froze it, he talked about, you're good, I love you, you're great. And the crystallization of the water was awesome. It looks just beautiful, like snowflakes. It crystallizes in the
We,
same way. And then when
we
he did that in the negative vein, the water took on that negative. It's
yeah,
amazing that we're not paying attention to what the government knows and what they're doing to us. And there should
right.
be a little bit of fear behind that.
Well, Sure, we can always make an excuse for fear, and I don't. You know what? Let me not go there. I'm sorry.
I
What
wonder.
what
I'm
you
not.
what you were talking about, though, Scotty? It's something we've discussed here before. That energies are what is, and our bodies are mostly water. The energies of our words, they make a difference. They make a difference in our memories, makes a difference in our biology. The words we choose have a lot of power. We as beings, we do not fully understand the power that's within us, and we do not understand the power of our words yet. I've been studying these things, and I'm not the only one who knows by any stretch of the imagination. And that was something I wanted to offer too. When I was trying to justify myself, right? Um, Encouraging people to listen to me. If you're interested in some of the things that are talked about, like what Scott was just describing, the science in the and the energies of words and water, the consciousness of water. If you're interested in these things, maybe we're not explaining it perfectly, but I can point you in the right direction. I like I said, where my blessings have been. God's allowed me to discover sources of information that I didn't know existed, man. So thanks, man. The the other part to that idea of propaganda, one of the things that's theorized is just that maybe the frequencies have been used, like there's invisible frequencies in the airwaves with the Wi-Fi, the television, the radio. All of these signals could be affecting how we think, how we process things. And then you add into this like I just saw a report. Apparently there was a big solar release of energy, and the earth's magnetic field is apparently shifting. So there's all these energetic things that are being measured, recorded, and reviewed in science. But the majority of the population is focused on surviving in a materialist society. And that's where the love comes in. We're divided because the love has been absent. Hey, John. Welcome, brother.
How's it going, Jack?
I believe we're blessed.
So, Jack, what do you think? What do you think we need to do in terms of accomplishing love? It seems you're against some sort of traditional morals or values in solving some of our problems. So, how can we mend the bridge of traditionalism and what we face today?
You said something that I'm not sure where that came from. You made the claim that I appear to be against traditional moralist values.
Yes.
Okay,
You're
so
against the idea of the man leading the women
in the way
oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I should probably. Me and Jack had a bit of a disagreement in private uh, just today,
yeah,
and obviously you're against what Andrew Tate says about men and women, and so I just want to know. I just want to clarify for the record. What do you think a man and a woman's role is? It seems to be kind of the underlying issue here on most of our politics here. So maybe if you can clarify for the record on what a man's role is and what a woman's role is in the family unit, that'd be fantastic.
I'll just throw this out here. I'll just throw this out here quick. That taint guy fucking traffics women, and he's even said the younger the better. That guy's so for me, whatever he says is fuck all. But anyway, go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
We're on the same page, brother. See this misogynistic crap of placing a man above a woman. No.
But aren't you for biblical values, though, Jack? That's in the Bible.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'm answering the question my way. If you want to ask questions about my answer, okay, we can move forward. But this interrogative, accusatory method of communication, I'm getting kind of tired of it with everybody, to be honest. So to answer the question, what are the roles of the man and the woman within the family? Their role is to be love. And to be love, we would be, children of God. We would be the ambassadors of heaven here on earth. And, to be love is to be truthful, to be honest, to be nurturing, to be caring, compassionate, attentive. It's not this protective and domination mindset. I do not agree with that anymore. I used to place men above women, and that's stupid. If we start doing that, if we start saying this one's above that one, I'm above this one or below that one, if we do that, all we do is imagine separations, because all of us are right now. We are now. Now is what we are. We are a result of the past. Each of our pasts are different, but all we are is an experience of time, this time together as humanity, right? And so the answer is we all become our version, our best version of the Christed image of love. Does that make sense?
Okay, Jack, I didn't really follow that. I'll try to make some notes about. Okay, so you talk about love. What is the definition of love that you are describing? We'll start there. There's a lot to unpack there.
Thank you. I mean,
is this an interrogatory? Is that? I mean, I'm
no. This is in good faith. I'm actually trying to understand Jack, because I've told him in private that I don't really understand what he says. So I'm just trying to understand what he says and taking notes. So
I feel
if he can clarify his position, that'd be great.
Actually, Jim, I feel the authenticity, and frankly, you've been a wonderful participant on these panels with the questions you've asked. So love is the indescribable feeling. It's the one that we know. It's unmistakable. It's the one that is. But unconditional love, I shared this on Facebook recently. It's gratitude with detachment. Okay? So the best way to know what something is in this experience that we're sharing is to know what it is not. Okay? We know hot and cold because of the opposites. So you can also do that with love and fear. If you start with love, what is love not? Love is obviously not fear. Love is not hate. Love is not angry. And so personally, I look for love with what is required for love. What is required for love to be there is gratitude. With gratitude will come trust, and with trust will come respect, and the respect will bring care, and the care brings the desire, the love that is. Love is honestly it's probably the most important nutrient for a human being. That would be my unprofessional, uncredentialed opinion. But I think logic
Sorry,
would have
Jack.
a tough time. Huh?
I'm actually listening to you, and it's just really hard for me to really follow. But basically, what I got from that long tangent was that you love is basically practicing mercy, having mercy on somebody who might have bad behavior, or practicing possible discernment. And I'm not against those things. Now, I guess maybe the next question would be, I guess, where it might be a potential controversy would be punishment. Should there be punishment for somebody's actions who doesn't learn?
That is a great question, John. And that's one that I was thinking about earlier. I see a lot of people trying to be the judge and punisher of others because they tell themselves they're doing the right thing. I even stupidly did that as a father when my son was a child. He received one spanking from me, but I justified in my mind that smacking my son's ass was the only way he could learn not to be a bully. How fucking stupid is that? Smacking my kid to teach him not to bully others. But that's what I did. So punishment, I no longer believe in punishment. I used to. I even used to believe in capital punishment. The unforgivable sins, people needed to die and to be tortured and to suffer. I used to believe that stuff, but I no longer do. Now I believe in correction and education with understanding. Understanding is easy when you recognize that we were born into a backwards world that places money above knowledge and love. It's stupid.
But don't you think there's a positive aspect that you're missing out of punishment that somebody can, if it's practicing good faith and not abused? Obviously, you're talking about something that you abuse, so there's always a balance to everything. But don't you think that through punishment, that in some situations that human beings can be corrected of their, let's just say, reckless behavior?
Presenting it like that, really, I'm considering, right? I'm thinking about what you're saying. And there is a point, when people do wrong, part of correction is repentance and contrition, making efforts, proving that you've changed. And so as long as punishment is offered with care, with mercy, with compassion, right, and care for the purpose of sharing understandings, because those are all required for love. Without understanding, there's no love. Without sharing, there's no love. Without correction, there's no love. That is part of what's wrong with our world today, is that we've been enabling each other. We've been I'm guilty of, when I say we, if it doesn't include you, feel excluded, but I'm guilty of self-sabotage and enabling my friends with self-sabotage, and they enabled me with my self-sabotage. And so the way I see it is humanity's been fucking holding itself back. If you look at humanity from like the mind of what might be the creator, looking at the nature and the divinity of this planet where we are, and looking at all the abilities we each have, God's got to be just looking at us saying, what in the fuck is wrong with these people, man? You give them books, and all they want to do is eat the pages. Oh, man.
So, yeah, I think I understand where you're coming from, and I think that's a pretty reasonable answer. Most liberals will just kind of, not even entertain the idea of punishment, but obviously you do. And I apologize for using labels. I come from the political world, so that's how I identify things and how I have constructive conversations like this. So I think basically what you're saying is that we should also practice kind of discernment in terms of reading the situation and not having like resentment in terms of doling out punishment for its own sake because it's you think it's good for the because you see a lot of parents sometimes they'll just yell at their kids or you've heard of stories of like moms like wanting to kill their own children because they're too much of a nuisance or they cry too much. Obviously that's kind of like in nature animals like even moms eat their own cubs. Sorry, I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. So but you want to because we have a as humans we have different capacity for abstract morals and rules and we also have a compassionate space or an empathetic space at least that these if there were such punishments that they should be dealt with in a compassionate manner as opposed to a rough manner, I guess, if I were to use those words correctly, or in a sinful manner, in a sinful mind state. Because if you're in a sinful mind state, you're just breeding more sin. You're just breeding more strife and division, I think is what you talk about.
Hey,
I think
John,
you're getting onto something. Like you're kind of into getting into big brain, but sometimes it's word salad. But I think I'm trying to piece together what you're saying, and I'm collecting a couple pieces together, and I think I understand what you're saying now. In a way, I might have to suss it out a little bit, but
hey, John, we're getting there, and I appreciate your efforts. And Bink, I saw you arrive. I didn't mean to exclude you all, but
no, by all means, sure. Thank you.
But to go off what you were just saying, John, the definition of sin, right? I know the Abrahamic traditions have their definitions, but what you just said, I don't remember exactly how you said it, but with the sin,
delving punishment through sin, I think.
Sin is when we're selfish. I swear, I think it's that simple. We're selfish. We think we are above the facts that another present, or if we are above another, or if we're above love. That's the sin, when we deny ourselves from the truth and the love, when we deny the truth and the love that's within ourselves, when we stop ourselves from sharing the truth, sharing the love, sharing our abundance with others. That is the sin, I believe. I could be wrong, but it makes sense to me. And then when we deny the truth or the love from another, we are sinning against that which is good, because that which is good is truth and love, both powerful, both immeasurable, both that is God, truth and love.
Maybe a sin, original sin, is when you stop believing in yourself and you thought you needed to eat the apple because you thought you needed something more than yourself. You needed more knowledge. You needed to be like God. You needed to be something that you were not intended to be. So then the creator said, well, fine, if that's what you want. But now we have this sin floating around, and we have other people as we try and find our way back home to what that original sin was all about and how to overcome that worthlessness or self loathing, if you will. And other people want to help us do that. Why? Why do you want to help someone else fucking crash and burn? Is it because you like NASCAR and you're watching the fucking cars around the track until they fucking crash and that's when you're going to clap?
That's, yeah, there's many who, I used to do that. Hey, Scott, what you brought up the forbidden fruit story, Adam and Eve. I hadn't considered that perspective you offered, that maybe that was the beginning of humans' doubt.
Of course.
But what's funny and synchronistic is I was just considering this earlier today too, and thought, because I came across a guy named Julian Jaynes. If anyone's familiar with him, he wrote something about the bicameral mind and the evolution of consciousness. And so I've given a lot of thought to how humanity has evolved. The point, to bring us back to what you were saying, sorry, the Adam and Eve story, I wondered if, okay, before that event, Adam and Eve were living, without sin, like they knew the will of God. There was no doubt. There was no consideration of disobedience. So it's like they were living in the now with the memories of before, and that was it. They knew what they knew. Nothing more. Well, then at some point, so they say, we develop the frontal cortex. And with the frontal cortex, the activity of thought there actually, as I understand, brings in the imagination. And it's through imagination that we can learn, and we can imagine comparisons of good and bad. We can learn, and through the imagined comparisons and the ideas, that's where the archetype of the devil leads us with temptation. So I was considering.
I'm sorry.
I went on there. What I was saying is, I wondered if the pursuit of knowledge was through the evolution and development of, and the gift of the imagination that God has allowed us. What were you saying?
I've heard the argument that God wanted Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge because they wanted to get out of the Garden of Eden because it was a sheltered place. And so they wanted to get out and test themselves and test them through tribulation. Through trials of tribulations, you'll be purified. I love that you're smiling about this. There's a lot of people hate that when I say that.
Well, it goes in line. There's another
tribulation. Yeah.
Well, there's another guy I go to for spiritual inspirations. I've shared him in a previous video. Shunya Murti or something like that. Shunya Murti. He described this beautifully the other day, and if I can remember, I've given it some thought, that what we are is we are characters within an eternal cosmic tapestry. It's like a light show. And we flicker in and out of being, and with our consciousness, the tapestry is created, and it's like it's beyond our mind and our imagination, but at the same time, that's where all the explanations are found, is within our mind and in our imagination. So what if nothing is real except God?
What does that mean?
It means that this is like a hallucination. It's a mind trip. We're individual thoughts within the mind of God, or maybe within the womb of God, because we're just developing into the spiritual characters that will evolve beyond the limits of space and time after we die.
What if it's much bigger than that?
Right? What if? We don't know. This is the humbling thing. We don't know shit. We really don't. Collectively, humans have billions, millions and billions of humans have dedicated their lives trying to figure out what all of this is and coming up with different explanations and different theories and practices. We don't know shit, but it's fun.
I'm sure one person has thought of it. One person figured it out, but was unable to get their story out into the public, and so it's just forgotten. So,
don't let anybody know it's me, please. Just don't tell any fucking body, okay? They're not supposed to know.
I'm curious. I'm curious if, like, what if it's a mixture of everything? Like, you know, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, how they talk about the transfer of the conscious
Dead Sea
into
Scrolls, Hammurabi and his teachings.
Well, I mean, the consciousness transfers into a next life source. Well, what if the life sources that we only know of today, the very microbial ones and the ones that are just much bigger, larger than life that we have found, which would probably be what a whale that we found in the ocean, the largest species that we've ever found. What if it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Like, you know, every time that you would expire, you're in another life, and your body and your heart and your soul just keeps growing bigger. And, you know, maybe it is a much bigger thing. I still think that we are, you know, an alien child science project that, you know, he's just tapping the test tube every once in a while and it shakes things up. But
this is gonna get pretty fucking blasphemous here for a minute here. I'm not meaning to, but I'm just gonna tell you, a long time ago I came up with a screenplay. I started writing, and the basic treatment for it is the House of Gods, okay? Where we had the God that had 7 days to create the earth, all right, and everything around it. But he was against other gods. There was like not apostles. There was just 11 other gods that were part of this class of the supreme God or supreme being. And there's names, and I'm not going to go into all that. But at any rate, rather than working for 6 days and resting for 7, he rested for 7, not knowing what the fuck he was going to do. And then on the last day, he fucking ran around to the other 11 worlds and decided, hey, let me grab this, let me grab that, let me grab this. And that's how we ended up with the multiple races and weird fucking shit that we have. Is it was a conglomeration of our deity going around and saying, I'm going to get my work done. And he was praised and he was accepted. You know, the whole story goes on. But the point being is that we're all mixed here and we're trying to figure it out. And it could be as simple as it was a little more chaotic than we thought.
Right. Yeah, a little bit more complex. What's up, Jack?
Hey, I love the expanded ideas, and I kind of lean with you with what you said, Pink. Some of the ancient explanations, they make a lot of sense, right? Because truth is eternal, and if you can accept the truth, then that's what it is. But the most important thing, we've all got to humble ourselves.
Sushi, not tacos.
The most important thing to humble ourselves to is the fact that the most important thing, the most important time of life, it's always now, right? So if you get in you got to pay attention. Notice what you're noticing. Notice what you're spending your time thinking about, not just doing, but notice what you're spending time thinking about. And if you're tripping out in the future, feeling depressed or anxious or whatever, or worse, if you're hung up in the past, looping on arguments and disagreements, man, put them down. Put the crap down. Put the fights down. Find peace. Go hug a tree, man. Like Scott was saying earlier, go put your bare feet in the grass. Go find some water to sit in, right? A lake or a creek or a stream, man. Well, there's a lot of polluted waters these days. That's something we got to take care of, man. This is not to bounce this around, but bringing it around to the future. There's so much that could be done to clean up our rivers, our industries, our economies, our governments. It's time for a good cleaning, I
Gotta,
think.
the hearts and minds and spirits of man have to be clean before you can clean the earth. The earth's ready to shake us off like a big, wet, shaggy dog
Oh
that's
yeah.
fucking tired of us. I'm
Well,
not kidding you.
hey,
I mean,
you're right. You're right. Unfortunately, the past has evolved the human nature into a real parasitic cancer on this planet, right? And if we want to cure the disease of humanity, it starts in the mind. Because our spiritual battle, the spiritual warfare, the mind, the brainwashing, manipulation, the advertising and propaganda that's placed us into decade after decade of profitable wars, and we're stacking imaginary conceptual debts. We're stacking those up to unbelievable levels for those to be passed down to who? We're going to pass debts to our children? Hell no. We're going to pass a better world to our children. That's my goal before I'm through. And I'm
that's it.
grateful
That's
to
the
have all
fault
of
of
you.
man, though. The fault of man
Yeah.
stacking that debt is because
User is haram.
one man wants to
The
look at the
yeah.
next man and have a ledger of profit and loss. That's not love. That's just not love. When you start talking about love and you want to define love, love is willingness to do for others that you do for yourself. Whatever you're willing to do for yourself, you must be willing to do for another. And if you truly love them, for them first.
Amen. I was thinking, as you were talking, back to the definition of love. I said it's the force that unites, right? And so if we find love, then we become one with that which we love. And love is expansive, especially the love of another being, man. It can take over your mind, your heart. All your time can be spent. How can I expand the delight and the joy of that which I
Now,
love?
now
Right?
you're on to it. Now you're on to it. There you go. Love is that which you do and forget about immediately because you're looking for the next act to do it all over again. That's true love. That's being in love with someone and feeling that from someone. I can tell you from personal experience, it's the greatest fucking feeling on earth. It's awesome to have somebody in your corner and fucking they're pushing you all the time, all the way. And when you think you can't do it, they're right there doing it for you. That's
Amen.
awesome. That's love.
Amen. So for those who find that, treasure it, take care of it, nurture it, grow it, right? Expand it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about humans that I think we've forgotten. We're so focused on survival for the self, and then we hook up, we get in a relationship, or maybe it's our family network, and then we focus on that small circle. But love is expansive. So if you find that treasure relationship, whether it's friendship or a partner or a lover who brings that drive and inspiration and encouragement and support to you, recognize that blessing and start sharing those things with others too.
There's a quote. I don't remember where. I know it was a poster that when I was a kid, my foster brother had hanging on the wall. I don't know who coined the phrase, but it said, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was.
Sometimes the strength comes in accepting that truth, that it doesn't matter if it returns, that you can still enjoy the love. You
Yep,
can
there
still
you
feel
go.
the gratitude. You can
I'm
always
glad you
remember.
got that. I'm glad you got that. That shows that you understand the love that was there. That shows that you're part of that truth.
Thank you, brother. Well, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. The key I found is gratitude. And it just logically makes sense, right? If you claim to love something, how do you show your gratitude? Okay. For me, the most important thing is our time, energy, attention. So if I'm grateful for something, my body, God, my home, I'm going to give it some time, energy, attention, as often as I can. Especially the God one, guys, brothers and sisters, I'm serious. We've overcomplicated it. I did. Seriously. If for those who know the words of the Bible, particularly the ones in red, the ones from the Christed man, I encourage you to start considering those words and asking yourself, what would it mean to me if this was true? What would it mean to me if these words were for me? I started wondering those things myself. And then when I started to think of myself more like Jesus, his words started making more sense to me, honestly. And the more they made sense, the more I started to believe. And the more I believe, well, I claim to know the way of Jesus was the way we're supposed to be living. And it's not that stinking hard. All you got to do is be nice, right? To be loving and forgiving and kind and brave.
Be the teacher when you're supposed to be the teacher. You don't have to kick somebody's ass to teach them something. There's no need for that. And people will make mistakes. I'm certainly not the one that's infallible. I'll fuck up. I'll actually come out and say things that are wrong. Imagine that. But you know what? I like it when someone corrects me because I take it as a teachable moment, a learning experience, growth measure. And you know what? The more I find out, the less I know. So I can afford to find out more shit.
Scott, if I can jump in on what you said there, what I learned is with memories of punishment, I was afraid to be wrong, right? I was so fucking afraid to be wrong that I'd spend hours stressing, making sure that I was right in whatever that I chose to do, except what I didn't pay attention to. But when I was afraid to be wrong, I would spend time arguing. But now I actually prefer to find out when I'm wrong, right? If you want to set a goal, you got to be prepared to fail. And if you're going to fail quick, fail often, get up, learn, do it again, change a direction. That's what I mean. I've been wrong so many times in my life, man. I feel pretty good right now. I think I might be right.
When you're wrong and you don't have an answer for being wrong and someone challenges you, that's when the fight or flight response takes hold.
It really does. That's very observant. I mean, for those who are listening, what we're talking about is
Fuck. Fuckity fuck. Ah, fuck you. Fuckity shit. Shit, fuck.
let's just do that. That one.
Who
Sorry,
was
Moose.
that?
Somebody
Who
with a
knows?
high level intellect.
Well,
Oh, dang, I
someone.
missed it. I was typing. Sorry.
It was someone seeking attention. Some insecure person without a purpose who felt that their time would be spent interrupting, good conversations. I feel, talking about God and love. These are kind of cool ideas. Especially you get a group of men together talking about this. This is new to me. Right? I used to get around and with my buddies, we'd get around, drink beer, have the game on or whatever. And we'd be sitting around bitching and complaining, gossiping about the people on the news. The people on the news doing things. We'd sit around gossip and complain about them. In hindsight, I see myself as the fool that I used to be. And who knows, maybe I'll look back at me today and see a fool again, but for now, hey, John. Punishment.
I'm typing and listening.
For me, it was the fears of punishment. I was afraid of being wrong. And so what I was just trying to share for those listening, if you find yourself getting confronted, someone's telling you you're wrong, and it's someone who really cares about you. It hurts. It hurts when we find out we're wrong from someone we admire, someone we really care about. It breaks our heart. It's shattering. But golly geez. It's better to be right and to be respectful than to go around in denial, making the same mistakes over and over. So if someone confronts you and says, hey, you're wrong, and you feel that fight or flight, right? You feel those feelings within you. Now you might have a better idea of what's going on, and just recognize it, that this is an opportunity. It's a trigger. It's an opportunity to reflect and consider what is true. Because I tell you what, facts don't care about feelings. Facts don't give a shit. But people should. I think we could all do a better job about caring for our own feelings and caring for the feelings of those who we're sharing time with. And expand who you consider yourself, who you are aware of that you're sharing time with. Because right now, everyone you love, we're sharing this time together. Everyone you hate, the people you don't know, the ones you see on the news, the ones in the war zones, the flood zones, the zones of famine, those in the refugee camps, those who are trying to take boats away from unsafe lands. Those people are all living with us, sharing time today. And I care about them too. I care about all of us. And I tell you what, I spent a lifetime hating people. Fucking hated people. They drove me nuts. Literally. In hindsight, people literally drove me nuts because I couldn't figure them out. So then I started trying to figure myself out. I encourage you to do the same thing. Make yourself like your own science project. Study you. What makes you tick? What makes you move? What are the desires and intentions that drive you? What's your purpose of being you? Each day we get to choose. I don't know, man. Brothers, hey, Moose, do you have anything to add? You guys have been patient, and I appreciate that. But I also, if you have anything you want to add, bring up, question, please do. Otherwise, I'm inclined, Moose, to do this one a short night. Even though we've had plenty of people tuning in and sharing time, sharing their attention. What are your thoughts, brother?
What is the thoughts of Pink? I haven't heard much from him.
Cool. What's the question? Is it like what is love? That great song. So love is a funny thing. I think we labeled something and then it has just all these attributes that are connected to it. Figuratively, yes, you can love something, you can love inanimate objects, you can love which we'll get to in just a second. And then you can also love a person, you can love a feeling, you can love a feeling. That's, the using the word so loosely, I feel is kind of demeaning to its own definition. When you just have great admiration, great appreciation, just one of these things where it's like, I hate to say it, but like it's almost a Disney effect. It's like, wow, that's great. But you can also you can love bad things too. You can love doing bad, you can love having bad habits. There's a whole bunch of other things. But the inanimate objects, and then I'm just connecting it with how AI is. There are individuals out there that are basically, finding a love for the new AI drones, the AI dummies that are out there. And what about that? Like, where does that stand? So love is really just where the heart just flows to it. So
Are you saying there might be an objective way to measure love through data mining? Is that what is that the inference you're getting at, or am I interpreting wrong?
That's an interesting concept of like data mining just for people with love and order. Like, are you talking about genuine love or like deception?
Well, it could be subversive in some way. Like,
Are they not?
When we
both
use the
the
term
same
love,
thing?
it's almost like it could hinder somebody on their objective on what they want to do. Like an enemy could use that word to stop somebody from achieving their objective that they don't like, right?
Yeah,
so
I can
like
see that.
I'm thinking about like the LGBT movement, where they use that term a lot, and when they use that term, there's a lot of some would say immoral behavior attached with the connotations of that word, especially when it deals with reading drag queen story time to kids, which is an objective fact. I'm just trying to be objective as possible.
Yeah.
And so, while it's love for a drag queen to read story time hour with kids, and some people get the impression that these are just some people, misinformation, bigots, that it actually hinders a child development.
I think the problem is it hinders a parent's child rearing.
Hinders a child rearing.
It's not about do you want your kid to go hear this story from drag queens. It's you will subject.
Hey guys, thank you. I wanted to jump in here. Our first donation of the night, I think, Paul and Slave, Jack and Paul, love merge. It's the possibilities are always there, always endless. Hey, and if I can jump in too on dang, there was something you said.
How long have I been muted?
We hear you now. You're good. It was probably maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in for a quick point I'm not going to get to, but I'm not going to do this moose stuff. I'll catch you guys in the future.
Have a good one, Tommy.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, sorry, Jack. Didn't know if that was going the direction, but
no. If I may, what you were saying to I think you said an attachment, right? I mentioned earlier, love is the one that makes one from the many, makes one from the multiple, from the two. It unites, and it bonds. There's an attachment. There's something there that unites.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I brought that up, but I'm loving the conversations too. The topic of love What do we do from here? Okay. I mean, does anyone disagree that the world is lacking in love, apparently?
Well, yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that it's, we talked about this last night with fear, and how that is a drive, and fear is a big drive. Not many people, like, if everything is love, 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 I mean, everyone's just going to be looking through rose-colored glasses. So you almost need a fine balance of it all, really.
Well, with love comes that attachment, and there's always that underlying fear of loss, right? So it is. There's a balance. It all comes together. If I can say, these conversations have been very inspiring for me, and I hope for those who are joining too, today and in the future. But I said more than I should have, and I lost my thought. Oh, fear and love. Those are such powerful forces, and they are the opposite: hot and cold, light and dark, fear and love. Those forces, in one moment, information that comes into your life, whether it's a being or an event, one moment can bring in this powerful fear, powerful love, and your future is transformed in a moment. Those two, when I'm talking about the fear coming in, like I remember getting the accusations with my career and the stuff with my family and all this stuff, it brought me to my knees. The fear changed me. But I've also experienced, and I know others experience, you meet that special one, right? There's just like an attraction, and it's undefinable, and you can be at the most miserable job, the most modest living conditions, and find someone to love you or that loves you, and all of a sudden that shit doesn't matter. Right? You got a new reason. You've got that attachment and that bond and that purpose. Fear and love, they're powerful forces.
I'd also like to point out that there's different personalities and how they, because we're all individualized souls, and I'm a believer in astrology and different personalities. And so some people will recognize a pattern that is not in tune with love, empathy, hearing the other person out, whereas the other one would view them as irrational. Why would they do that? And so it is through communication that we can build these bridges between two sides, instead of just being in our echo chambers and in different camps. We can communicate what we mean and what we say in a more articulate, constructive manner, as opposed to being provocative. There is a time to be provocative, but there's other times to hash out your arguments and become better in time, and more intellectually competent and effective in delving out wisdom.
Jack.
Yes, brother.
Jack, excuse me. Go ahead. Excuse me.
I was just going to say, I'm working on what you were describing, John. Hopefully, improving my ability to articulate and not being so quick to react into the confrontation. I think that's what you were explaining, John. Hopefully, that's the direction I'm going in, as I understood.
Yes.
What were you saying, Scott?
I've had some amazing experiences in life, and writing is one of the experiences that I've enjoyed the most. Getting introspective, looking inside deep, and I wrote a song called "Stay With Me" that I opened up for Gladys Knight and the Pip. There wasn't the Pips there. There was only one Pip left, and Jeffrey Osborne. And "Stay With Me" is kind of about love. It's the lyrics are, I've been around long enough to know exactly what's up, and I know what's going down. I can feel it all around. Baby, love is just a game of nothing ventured, nothing gained. Sometimes it feels so good to put aside your pain. and I can feel it's building up. It's buried deep within your love, as I can see it in your eyes. We escaped to paradise, and I know what it means to love. Just tell me, will it be enough to make you stay with me? Stay with me, baby. Won't you stay? Stay with me goes through the chorus. Stay with me. Stay with me tonight. And then, girl, let me fill you up, for my love will never stop. Just
Scott,
let me.
Scott, I have a
Yep.
question for you. Did that man actually stay with the woman? Did the woman stay with the man? Because I'm gonna bet 99.9% chances are that the woman left because that song kind of sucks.
Okay, you should have heard it when it
It's
was
almost
recorded. It's a
terrible.
few years old. What's that? I'm not trying to sing it, and Moose, that's okay. I love you for your opinion of it, but I had crowds of people clapping, so I don't really need your opinion to validate the song.
I
You
get
know,
crowds of people laughing and clapping and all kinds of things too. So I mean that's fine, but the song sucks. I mean,
it really
have you ever
does,
been to
huh?
a Cardi B concert?
No, no, no. This is a different
Thousands of
genre.
people go to Cardi B.
This is a different genre, and there's okay. There were thousands of people at different shows that the people that recorded this that worked with me on played. I wouldn't say there were thousands of people at any of the shows this was at. Other than two of them, there were probably 5,000 people at. So big
Hey,
enough for me.
hey, I think I got the gist. You wrote beautiful words
The
about the
point,
topic of love,
the point
and
behind it. Can I get to the end of the thought behind it?
please,
Is that no matter how much you think you know about love, it's always going to be up to the person on the other side of that too. You've got to be able to love them. They've got to be able to love you. If they don't know what it means, I think then somehow or another you're going to have to convey that to them. And a lot of it's actions. You could talk all you want, you could say everything in the world, but if you don't show the truth, if you're not a authentic individual who has something to offer, not just bullshit, not just words, not just talk, that's all cheap. Go to the fucking real hard work. Put that in and then show me what you've done. And then I'll believe in you. I'll have something to believe in.
well,
Give me
hey,
something to.
hey, brother, I got to interrupt because while I agree with the sentiments, what you're saying can be misunderstood, right? This expectations of others, you know, we can love people the way they are, right? Doesn't mean you have to condone or enable or even approve of some of the things they do or say. But I did hear what you said was that you can't control others. You may have the deepest attachment, the deepest feelings, the deepest bond, but if it's not reciprocated, you're lying to yourself.
That part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that last part.
Um,
It's somewhat of a give and take, I feel. But then again, I'm not married, never have been. And with the statistics these days, with 7 to 15 years relationships lasting, it's like, man, and things just keep changing. It's the lack of ethics, morals, and values too that are involved. A lot of people are falling out of faith, so you're not having these types of these strong foundations, and it's a tough one. What I say is, you find maybe it's not in your own backyard, but you find a culture, you find something that you can emulate with, that maybe not a culture, but just find that, know what you want. Most importantly, know what you want, and then you go find that. And then it's going to be tough on both sides, but yeah,
I've
they
heard of
say,
this story like many times. You're thinking you're
yeah,
not the only man.
yeah,
For
what's that?
coworkers and friends, kind of in their men in their 30s, wanting to go and date women in foreign countries that have traditional morals, or at least have a foundation of who they are.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I have to agree on the other side too with Jack. Like, the person has to know what they want as well in order for that reciprocation. And it's tough because, again, you can't control anyone, but you have to, maybe just notice, be aware of the person that you love. I mean, be aware of them, not like super creepy aware, but like, just notice that, they have an early morning. So you get up earlier and you make them breakfast or coffee or something. You just get something ready, that just those little things, like, just, it shows. And a lot of people are falling out of that because of expectations and assumptions, and they think it comes easy, and they see these people on their phone that are traveling the world that are like, they have a better life than us. And it's like, let's go somewhere and do something. And it's just, then you're applying so much pressure on it. You don't want that. You want it to be natural, because that's the reason why you got involved with the person, is, to be natural, because they accept you, you accept them. But
Hey,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I want to bounce in here for two reasons. One of the things first, hard hat, man, it looks beautiful wherever you're at. I see the evening sun shining and the blue sky in the background. Saw some distance there. Looks like you're in a nice spot, brother.
Yeah,
Are you in the mountains?
no, I'm in the city, but when the winds blow a certain, have to use the smaller runway at the airport. You guys hear me?
Sometimes, mostly.
There's wind here.
You in Alberta,
anyway,
Canada?
it's blowing. It's howling today, windy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. So when it blows a certain direction, the planes have to land, and there's just this perfect spot that you can see the whole runway they land on, and they come, I don't know, 70 feet in front of me and about 200 feet above me. So anytime the wind's blowing this way, I come out here, and yeah, it's nice. There's not too many chemtrails out, and it's a nice sun. It's going down another half hour. So just kind of relaxing and chilling. I love planes. I'm a little amateur aviation buff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun way to spend some time. There's out by the airport, there's a place there too where you can hang out, watch the planes coming in here. It's interesting. But back to the love. It was beautiful. I wanted to comment. Thanks for taking us there, brother. What you were saying too about love, knowing I think you said knowing what you want is important when trying to find that one. I'd also like to emphasize knowing what you have to offer is super important.
yeah.
Because if you know what you've got to give away, well, that's going to help you find the one who wants what you offer. So it's not just what we want. It is what you will accept. And I tell you what, I've settled in relationships. I've settled in jobs. I've settled in lowering my standards enough that I know that I should encourage you. Don't settle. Do not settle. I mean, don't demand perfection from others, and strive for improvement, but don't settle, man. Because this life is ours to create, and this is the adventure. I finally realized I think if there's one fear I have, it's being in my deathbed, and thinking back, shit, why didn't I try that? I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to see opportunities and just not consider them or think about them too far in the past.
We become a sedentary culture of comfort and base and pursuing materialism and like you said, settling down and having a white picket fence but like there was a time in the pioneers where this land was vast and open, and people had this strong ethic of adventurism and always, challenging their boundaries, always doing the next new thing and the next big thing.
But then I'm sorry to interrupt, but then the educational system came in and children were taught to obey so they could serve in factories and so they could be good citizens, good voters. Just a bunch of nonsense.
I don't even think
agree
we
with
need.
what you said.
I don't even think we need all these manufacturing jobs. If you look at Russia is mostly like an agrarian, like a farm based. They do have like technological capacity, but like they don't have much overhead, so they mostly they're almost like their own breadbasket. And then now with all these sanctions, they've gotten a stronger economy. And so if you had like in America where everyone had a chicken in their backyard and their own garden,
that's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale that I don't believe ever really existed, especially when the history of America is pretty clear that after black folks stopped getting sold at the town auction, after that ended, well, then we still had children in industry and in coal mines. We had children in hard labor. So America should not be proud of. America can improve. America can improve. We've got a lot to overcome.
Do you feel guilty, Jack, for what your ancestors have built for you?
No, because I have purpose. Right. No, because I have purpose and intentions and plans to change it. I used to feel guilt, admittedly, but now I don't. I mean, I've accepted many things. And actually, I'm going to throw a curveball here. I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, I've accepted that maybe it's time to wrap this up this evening and continue on for the night.
All right, folks. So
you got it. Thank
Jack's
you so much.
Hey, Jack, I got a quick question. Are you and Moose, like, you're kind of going to integrate some kind of membership to join your show? And if you don't get that membership, you won't even be able to watch your show. Is that correct?
No, nobody ever said that.
No.
I've seen YouTube channels with memberships. You could still like watch their streams. You have like maybe a limited capacity to comment at best, but you can still watch a stream.
If you were, I mean, you've only been on for a couple hours, and if you are going to be expecting people to be paying for a membership, you got to fucking hustle, and so you should be on for 4 or 5 hours, right? You can't just drop in and out.
I mean, that's too long though.
Yeah, I know. I'm
I
just
like 2 hours.
busting balls.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm just busting balls. Fuck.
I know.
We all could do whatever we want to fucking do, and it's a beautiful night to fucking relax and chill out, and everyone can have fun. So,
yep. Jack wants to go out and have a little fun tonight, baby.
I didn't plan my day well, admittedly. And so I've had dinner sitting on the counter back there waiting for me.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, I won't.
Hey, let me say goodbye.
Please,
then.
Brother.
Consumerism has been pushed upon us, which has led to them pushing obsolescence into the products that we buy so that they can fucking get us to become consumers again. And then now they've pushed 3 generations of fucking children through the schools of complacency. So we're fucked sideways if, as men, we don't come together with a unified message that is not all love, but certainly about love, not all trust, but certainly about trust, but all 3, add honor into that. And I think that we have a good start. So you guys, God bless, do your best, and peace to all.
Peace.
Amen, brother. Have a good night.
Peace.
Peace, brother. Thank you for joining. I am going to add, hey, Moose. I am going to add there's another guest, and I am going to, even though I said I was shutting down and the music was playing, welcome, brother Unslaved.
How are
It is
you,
a pleasure.
Jack? I don't know who was operating the board tonight, but no links were going down. Extremely poor performance. You had I, myself, your humble narrator, waiting down there in the chat area with the rest of the little people, Jack. Not like you and I, right? So that's
They
very
are.
inappropriate.
They are. They're just like you and I. They're just playing a different role. We all play different roles. And hey, you know what? Thank you for that reminder. You know, Moose and I, we are figuring out our pattern, and admittedly, I'll own that. The stream the link to join has been something we've discussed a little bit, and I did not pin it to the chat like I normally do. So I'll own that.
I like this whole thing of like Moose acting cool now, like one of these hip YouTubers where he's like, all right, peace, y'all. And then he puts his two fingers up and, you know, music going.
You know what? Hey, did you see the opening? We started with something different today. We started with an opening and having fun with this. We're allowing the creativity. You know, we're just starting to get going. I'm excited where this is going to go. But now, Paul, here's something I gotta wonder. Okay, like I said, I was prepared to shut it down, and the credits were ready to roll. Last night, I heard the words that you're at war with us. And I know we exchanged some words, and I was quite critical and maybe even abrasive in the chat comments last night. I don't know what you saw or didn't. Where do we stand? What are we doing, brother?
It's an ongoing Cold War, Jack. We just can't quite achieve détente. So it goes on.
What happened? Are you there?
That's Moose in his room right there. Did you see that picture? That's him with a little magic wand.
I don't know what's happening.
Do you actually
this
this in the beginning?
This might. Oh yeah, this is the beginning, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is terrible.
No, it's coming through a little rough.
Wait. Moose is trolling you. Jack, this is what I tried to tell you. Moose is purposely. He's gotten in your fold, and now he's so purposeless in his life. He's trolling you. Why is there a seal? Why is this guy climbing him out?
They're living without fear, man.
Oh, wait, the seal is living without fear.
Well, the seal starts out with the softness, the natural vibe, right? I don't know, man. It's cool. It's a different vibe, and the idea.
Jack, none of these people are you or Moose, so how exactly? So these are just stock footage clips of other people living without fear, but not you two.
Hey, right. They're inspiring. They're inspiring in their ways, and whoever created the videos and stuff, I mean the imaging.
Jack, I just saw you. You're shockingly attracted to that man right there. I just saw you get Whoa.
See? And there's the message. That's
Could
the whole
you imagine
point.
if Michael Cino actually put himself, you know, to something worthy as a cause? He actually might get something done in his life. You know, he might actually have some talent. Dare I say it? But no, he's got stock footage of seals, random people jumping out of planes, climbing mountains, and then live without fear.
Well, Paul, again, this is the conversation. Moose and I have talked about what it could be like to have the talents and creativity of Paul Enslaved with us.
Yeah, that's. I thought you were gonna say for you to have those talents. I mean, you could have them with you, but for you two to ever get them, it's near impossible. Right. I couldn't see that ever happening.
I humble myself. There are many things that I don't know if I could ever figure out how you do, but serious. There's actually been several people. I've mentioned this to others, by the way. But there's many people who say that, no, it'll never happen. No, Paul never change. But I don't want you to really change. I just want you to.
I love how I have to be the one to change in this scenario. Why is it in every scenario? What is that now? Can we talk to the moose creature? Can you bring him? Why is he hiding? Can you bring him in here?
Probably just showing respect.
Yeah, why is it that I have to change? Like, what is it about me that is not working for some people's agenda?
Paul, do you think you're easy or challenging to work with?
That depends on how much of a dumbass you are.
Okay, but all right. Well, see, the definition of dumbass, it can be, I don't think I'm as big of a dumbass as many people claim. And I don't think you're quite as bad or as abusive as many people claim. So there's something
agree to the second
part. I knew you would. I know. Paul, seriously, with humility and care, I see taking this live without fear pretty far. Number one, because I know who the fuck I am. I know I don't quit. And I know that I don't limit myself like I used to. So I got Moose here with me for a while, at least, right? As long as, well, we're learning and growing, and he may find that this leads to something better for him. There's that possibility. I understand that. But
like if he does really good over here, I'll ask him to be back over there and be my producer.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that was available for the right reasons, right? But seriously, Paul, we could do something, figure something out together to merge the messages of what we're bringing.
The problem is, Jack, I can't find enough stock footage of gorillas, especially white gorillas. And so I'm having trouble with that.
Well, we do have a white gorilla who's quite an impressive being.
Moose, can I ask you what the seal was all about specifically? Like this see how he starts laughing? He acts like you don't know what he's doing, but I know this person and I know what he's doing. He purposely put that seal there to fuck with everyone. He goes, first shot, seal. Right? Like, and it was like, what? Then it's mountain climber.
It is a fair question.
His whole life is one big troll. He can't even keep a straight face. Why did you let him in here, Talcott?
You asked for him.
There's
no, I mean, why'd you let him into your fold to do this?
Oh,
he's destroying your whole life and all your credibility with pictures of seals.
There's nothing wrong with the seal.
You've never once been around a seal, Talcott. Who are you, Baba Wanyama now?
It's living without fear.
How does the seal relate? I've asked it 5 times and no one's given an answer. How does the seal relate to live without fear?
It's chilling on the beach. It's not worried about someone coming to eat it.
If the seal lives without fear, it's going to die quickly. How many predators are out there? That seal needs a healthy dose of fear. Jack's like that seal. He's just laying about, stomach up in the air. He's rubbing his back on the ice. Next thing you know, he's getting fucking ate up by Klaus Schwab.
No, there is something about that, just chilling out, because there is fear. And I mean, there's reasons to fear. but there's also reasons to chill out and enjoy the life while you can. Because there's other people who can't, at least right now.
Moose is drinking pineapple juice so that when he blows himself later, it has a better taste.
I noticed the show, but I didn't make the connection. That makes sense, I guess.
Right. He had that same surgery that Marilyn Manson had to remove his bottom rib so he could service himself.
Oh, no.
The joys of being married.
Holy cows, too much.
Hey, at least I can get it any time of the day.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll reserve my commentary.
we
were being loving and kind, so I'm gonna just not say anything because I'm a magnanimous man. So I'm just gonna move forward.
Well, I think we should probably wrap up.
I feel bad for fat people because if this is the size can that you're getting pineapple juice in now, wait until shit hits the fan. You know what I'm saying?
Is he doing an indirect shot at me, like fat people all of a sudden we're talking about? Because I'm here.
I don't
know. I eat a lot of food. I consume as much as a larger man. And once things really start hitting the fan, I mean, this 6 ounces isn't working for me. When they give me 2
have
ounces,
to get your wife 2 of them then.
Actually, along the lines of what Scott was saying on his way out, we've become kind of a consumerist habit. We don't need to consume as much as we do.
Well, I think I can agree with everyone. I'll speak for everyone when I say there's never enough consumption of Jack. Always use more Jack Talcott.
It's true.
I look forward to when that's true because no lie, my life is what it is, but I got to wake up every day with this life. And I do look forward to when people want me around again. Seriously, I've invited maybe 15, 20 different people here in town. Hey, I got money again. Can I buy you lunch?
Jack, that's not how you do it, brother. Don't do it like that. Don't do it like that.
Jack's gonna spend all that money he got on lunches for people who just want to eat free.
No, they don't even do that, man. It's crazy. I haven't had a meal with a human being, and I don't know how fucking long, man.
They start consulting with each other, a couple on the side of the road. Hey, you want to come to lunch? You too?
I thought about it.
We might have to talk to him. No, tell him no. We're not interested.
Actually, now that I think about it, I have gotten to that point. I've taken homeless people in for a meal just so I have someone to hang out with for a little while, so I don't have to eat alone.
Talcott, you're totally that guy. I could definitely see you paying a prostitute to just talk. And then her winding up in the fucking trunk because she says something. She goes, "You gotta do what? Go to the UN. Man, you're dumb. Am I really? Or is that your opinion?" Next thing you know, in a trunk off the bridge. We got video of it. I got a video of you with the woman screaming in the trunk, okay? You're not going to say I don't have that.
The next 48, Talcott edition.
Oh, my God. See, this is why I love you. You are a fun man, Paul. When you allow it, when you allow the fun to come out, you are so much fun. But with all seriousness, I do think it's time to wrap it up. So
yeah, that reminds me. What's the name of that young boy you say is lying on the counter over there that you call dinner?
I'm gonna kick you out with that one. Much love,
brother. I'll see you later, Talcott.
I hope to see you later. Hey, brothers and sisters, thank you again for those who tuned in today, joined us on the panel, off the panel, in the chat, and who tune in later in the future. Thank you for sharing your time again, joining us for Hump Day. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. I think we had some good conversations. They were enjoyable, productive, some deep conversations, some brotherly men having open and honest conversations about important things. So I hope you, whoever's listening, men and women, brothers and sisters who are tuning in, I hope you see the value of what's being offered. And I hope you can imagine potential. So thanks again, brothers and sisters. Till next time, tomorrow night, I believe. Plan on the future and live without fear.